okay, so you came over to talk to me. Do you mind, do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, my name's Cody Craig.
Cody, okay, my name's Brandon.
Brandon? Okay, awesome.
Nice talking to you. I like the tats.
Oh, thank you very much, my friend.
So, first off, do you know anything about veganism?
I know that it's like you don't eat meat. And is veganism, or is that... you don't eat any animal products, right? Okay, no animal products at all.
Yeah, and so that's in diet, but the ideology is that we reject all forms of commodification of animals. So no entertainment, no clothing, no animal products, etc. Right? So in terms, I'm going to assume you're not vegan. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So based on that definition, is there a reason why you aren't vegan?
Honestly, it's just because I enjoy eating meat.
Okay. All right. So enjoyment, right? You like it. So do you think that liking something is a justification for an action or behavior?
That's a really good question.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Think about it.
No, it's not.
It's not. Okay.
It's not at all.
So if liking something, right, and doing it for no other reason besides you like something, not a justification, why else aren't you vegan?
Damn, that's a good one. See, that's why I like coming to talk to people like you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I guess it's like, I haven't thought about it too much, you know what I'm saying? And then like the moment I heard you say that shit about like, you care about that, like it's not just about the eating of it, it's about the not parading them and stuff.
So if veganism is not about diet. Yes, in practice it affects diet, but it's not a get healthy diet, because you could eat nothing but Oreos and be vegan. It's about looking outside of yourself and not contributing to a moral atrocity that is the animal agriculture industry.
Okay.
Right? So would you?
Would you say that back in like the old societies when hunting and gathering was a thing, would you say veganism is still applicable, or were we just doing the right thing because that's what the structure was? But nowadays we've changed the structure so much as to where it's kind of almost disgusting in a way.
So, in terms of a case where it's a necessity, right? Let's say it was eat meat or starve. That's a little bit different. Now, it's still philosophically, it's interesting to discuss whether or not killing at all is ethical, even for survival. But I'm not gonna say that I'm not going to blame people for wanting to survive.
Okay.
But in our first world country, where we have food security, we have grocery stores on every corner, and you don't need to eat meat to survive or to be healthy.
Because you look healthy as fuck. I was thinking that when I walked up. I was like, this vegan looks healthy. Because no offense, a lot of the times when I see vegans, I think they're just not taking the right, like either supplements or not doing the right exercise and dieting. So it's like they're skinnier than most people, but it's because they're just not getting the right things that they need.
100%. So we already know, based on the best research, and I have a hand, I'll show you that after, but based on the best research that a vegan diet is perfectly healthy at all stages of life. And not only that, but it puts you at the lowest risk if done properly.
So
all of our chronic diseases.
Is your mother's milk considered vegan?
Yes.
Okay, because it's from like your own like.
Because it's consensual.
Okay.
So any animal, if animals could consent, right? If a cow could consent, it'd be a little bit different of a story. But they don't. And what we do, we actually breed these animals specifically.
And we lock them up and keep them there. And
absolutely. And we breed, so it's billions of animals. I think on Thanksgiving alone, it's like 40 billion turkeys.
Dude, one of the worst things I've ever seen is I went to fucking New York and I was walking down the road. I saw 2 truckfuls of chickens, and it was literally, it was in the heart of the city, smog everywhere. I was like, is this what we're eating?
Absolutely. So over 90% of the animal products that you eat are factory farmed. Right? So we're talking about every time you go buy food, unless you're specifically sourcing it, it's coming from the worst of the worst. Now, even if you did local, and even if you did, humane, quote unquote, is there really a humane way to kill something, to end its life prematurely?
Not quite. I think the only way that, it's like I look into a lot of religions, I think the halal style is okay when they kill things for halal.
Have you seen how halal is done?
It's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be done right, it's a ritual sacrifice that they do decapitation in one swing that severs the head clean. A lot of the time, though, halal is not followed properly and these animals do suffer. But if halal's done right, I don't think there's a problem. But it's because ritual sacrifice has been a thing in thousands of years for humanity. And it's like, they don't eat pork unless if it's done halal style. You get what I'm saying?
So here's my question. There is also ritualistic sacrifice in a lot of societies of humans. So let's say you did it in a way, on your definition of humane, where decapitate the head, no suffering. Would that be, is that...
For humans?
Is that justified?
So I guess it's kind of... I guess it's the way you look at humans and animals and how different we are, because like we think that just because we have cognizance that we're special almost.
Well, not cognitive. So also what I'm advocating for are specifically sentient animals. So sentient animals, they have sentience: cows, chickens, pigs, dogs, cats, certain insects, etc.
So do you
Just like
are
us.
you kind of okay with like pescatarianism then?
No.
Or no?
Fish.
Okay,
Fish are sentient,
Okay,
yeah.
That's what
So-
I thought. Some of like octopuses and shit, some of the smartest animals.
Absolutely. So I'm advocating for sentience, right? So the thing is, you mentioned, humans and animals. Yes, we are different, but is there a morally substantive difference that justifies what we do to animals and not doing that to humans?
How do you define cognizance, though, is the whole thing? Because how do you know whether something's cognizant enough to know whether or not it's being killed? Because the whole thing on that is like, I definitely feel like cows probably know, like, and all those like farm animals, which is the most fucked up thing. I feel like they all know. But like, I feel like if you spear hunt a fish, does it know it's being caught?
So obviously, when you're hunting wild animals, they might not know before you actually kill them. But again, that goes back to the question, right? Can you end somebody's life prematurely and call it humane, right? Because the synonyms for humane are stuff like compassionate, benevolent, caring, right? So would you say that you could kill a sentient animal and have it be caring, benevolent, compassionate, right?
No.
And when it comes to sentience, right, obviously cognitive ability is different than sentience. So like you and I are smarter than a cow, right, in terms of we can communicate, we create
it's
technology,
sentient.
but we, just like the cow, has experiences and can feel things like we can. And how we know that, how the best research or the best scientists know that, is because they have brains, they have nervous systems, they react to stimuli very similarly. So everything kind of points towards, okay, these animals are sentient. Unlike plants, where they have no nervous systems, they have no eyes, they have no brains, and when you do kick a tree, it does not respond to stimulus like a
So
sentient
ready?
animal.
When you cut grass and all the other blades of grass let off their pheromones,
Good one.
is that not conscious of the grass knowing it's being destroyed? Because it is knowing it's being killed. It is knowing it's being destroyed. It lets off the pheromones. Is that not sentience, or is that just cognizance?
Great question. So this is an intelligent conversation. So when it comes to, well, yes and no, I can give you a little too much credit, but when it comes to the grass, right, there's a difference between intelligent communication and sentience. So like plants, their job is to survive.
That's why I ask these questions, because it's not like I necessarily think that way. I like to hear how you explain it, you know?
So plants, their job is to survive, right?
Okay.
So they, of course, like if you go to cut grass,
Yep.
they might have some way of communicating that they're being cut, or
Yep.
like plants, how they turn towards sunlight.
Yep,
They're
exactly.
reacting to their source of life.
To a stimulant
Right.
or a stimulus.
But
Yeah.
that's different than kicking a dog and the dog crying or the dog
That's an
screaming.
emotional response.
Exactly.
It's not like, it's kind of not like, it's like how the plants, when they do that, it's kind of almost like their heart beating in a way. Like we do that naturally. We don't control that. They just do it.
Rep?
And
Exactly.
I get that.
But like, so animals are not robots. Animals, they'll cuddle, right? They can be pet. They can react to be.
And all animals will too, is the craziest thing.
Absolutely. Cows, pigs, chickens, everything will react positively to joy or things that bring them joy, and negatively to pain or things that bring them harm.
So what do you do in order to stay healthy being a vegan then?
Well, you got to make sure you eat a well-balanced diet, just like an omnivore, right?
Yep.
Most people who aren't vegan are still deficient in a lot of vitamins.
Yeah.
They still are not eating enough or eating too much, right? So you still have to eat a balanced diet. But now, instead of eating meat, you just focus on plant-based food. So
And then you take your like supplements or whatever, I'd assume, correct?
absolutely, you could either take a multivitamin or you could supplement a specific thing that you need, which most non-vegans should be doing anyway, right?
I agree. I
But-
take vitamins and I'm not a vegan.
Exactly right. So, if we can agree, and we should because it's the best research shows this, if we can agree that you can be perfectly healthy on a plant-based diet, what is the justification that allows, what's the reason that would justify us killing billions of animals and breeding them and raping them and etc.?
There's not a good justification.
There isn't.
I'll agree with you on that. There's not a good justification on that.
So, I'm glad I was able to bring you to that same page. So if we're on the same page, you paying and contributing to that industry makes you, it contradicts your morals, and it makes you a hypocrite. And if you don't want to be a hypocrite, man, that's the only
And
way.
I can't lie. A lot of time when I eat meat, I don't enjoy it. It's only when I can't lie. When I have a very nice steak or a very nice like pork roast, I do enjoy it. But for the most part, I enjoy a good salad a lot more.
And is that enjoyment worth the suffering and death of another sentient animal?
That's a good question. I feel like I'd have to put a lot of thought in that. I don't have a ready answer, but I feel like I'm gonna think a lot about this.
Yeah, like for example, let's say you knew every time you ate a certain food, it caused, I don't know, another form of injustice. Let's say a child abduction.
Okay.
Right? Would you say that your pleasure from eating that food, would you allow the child abduction to happen?
I guess that's like a really interesting thing to think about, because it's not that you're justified that those two things are the same. It's that they're both like injustices.
Absolutely.
And by doing an injustice, you are doing wrong. So are you okay with doing wrong just to enjoy yourself?
They're not the same. So just so we're on the same page.
I know what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Child abduction obviously is a very serious issue.
Completely different.
Totally different. But injustices are comparable.
All injustices are an injustice. All of them are wrong. It's just the level of how wrong they are.
Sure.
And how much it can affect your conscience.
Exactly. So, you know, and I'll introduce you to a term, I don't know if you're familiar, it's called speciesism. Right?
Okay.
So speciesism is discriminating against different species of animals, right?
Okay.
So we're animals, right? We try and give each other rights to life.
Yeah.
But we do discriminate against other animals.
Oh, 1,000%.
And even below us, we treat dogs well. We have laws that protect dogs
We have
from
animals
abuse.
we care about, but then we have animals that are literally just feed and fodder. And it's like, why did we choose that? Why do we not eat dogs, but we'll eat fucking cows? Why do we not eat horses, but we'll eat pigs?
Dude, that's exactly right? So that's speciesism, and that's similar. So there's a lot of intersectionality, right? So whenever there's an injustice done to humans, whether it be racism.
I was wondering if I could just hop in a minute.
Oh, sure.
I don't want to interrupt the convo.
No problem. So whether it be racism, sexism, homophobia, etc., they always compare those who, quote unquote, lesser people to animals, right? Because it starts from the bottom up. If we can understand that veganism, right? If we can understand to not discriminate against other sentient animals, there's no way we can discriminate against other humans.
I like this. All I have to say is, like, most of the time, why I'm scared to come up to these kind of things is you have a lot of, I can tell you're an intelligent person. You have a lot of unintelligent conversations about this kind of stuff whenever you try to get into it with people, because people have hard feelings and they feel that way and they have a hard time articulating it. You have your facts, you have your statements, your personal opinions, but you articulate them so well that it is persuading and it's not argumentative. And I have to say, it's very influential, and I am very much so appreciating this.
I thank you for that, and that's the thing. Like for me, this there are very, like, obviously I do it for the animals. I don't want animals to be hurt because I love animals, but this is not an emotional choice for me. Exactly. I did not go vegan because I said, oh my God, so sad the animals. I went vegan because I could not logically justify what I was contributing to.
Because it's not emotional, it's logical.
It's logical.
If you actually think about it, your emotions aren't based there. That's a lot more just like thinking logically. If you actually look down at the facts, like how you just explained to me, I'm having a hard time thinking about wanting to keep eating meat. I can't lie.
Exactly, and not just meat. So I don't know if you know about dairy.
Yeah,
so
any
animal products.
It causes the suffering of those animals in order to get that shit. Fucking, especially cows and dairy farms and shit. That shit's horrific if you look into it. I've always been disgusted. I've just never talked to somebody properly. And honestly, you've persuaded me quite a bit, my friend.
That's great. I'm very happy to hear that. So what I urge you, like, obviously, you know, I want you to go vegan as soon as possible. I have a card.
Let me see it.
This brings you to my website. There's a whole resource section on how to eat, what you do. I have an Instagram. Please reach out to me.
What was your name again?
Brandon.
Brandon? Cody.
I'm
definitely probably going to be. Definitely.
Great. And you see, look, man, you seem with it, if that makes just talking to you.
Yeah.
Most people are, most progressive people are vegan in spirit. They've never thought about it, or no one's ever talked to, explained it properly. But, you know, if you are against other forms of injustice, this is the way. This is it, man.
I fuck with it. Thank you for talking to me, dude.
Yeah, nice talking.
Want to hop in?
Yeah, I want to talk a little.